Welcome to the Diamond Hogs podcast. I'm your host, Mason Choate, joined by Robert Stewart. We're live from Round Rock, Texas. Just wrapped up the Round Rock Classic, so Arkansas gets the win over Louisiana after losing to Stanford on Sunday. First game of the doubleheader, lost to Stanford 5-0, and then they come back and they beat Louisiana 6-4. It's been a long day. It's 12:12 in the morning, and we got to get up and drive back tomorrow, Robert. But we love baseball.
We sure do. It'd be a lot easier if we could fly back to XNA tomorrow, but alas, we do not live in a perfect world. But today was a good one. We got 3 games of baseball in. The first one was Indiana and Stanford, and then got 2 Razorback games in. We had been here for more than 36 hours and had not seen a single inning of Razorback baseball, and then we got to see 18 of them today, so that was nice.
It was, and the good thing is that they beat Louisiana, because if they didn't beat Louisiana after getting shut out by Stanford, it would have made our trip seem a lot less worth it. But the Battles home run in the 8th, and then Ramage coming in and finishing in the 9th against Louisiana, that was awesome. So we'll get into all of that on this episode. But before we do, we have a new sponsor alert. We have a new sponsor. It's exciting. We're excited to have people interested in advertising with us, and they are the First Seat Pub and Grub. They're in Bentonville, Arkansas. Kind of started out as a late-night conversation between Sean and Trisha Walden, and they decided, hey, we want to have a local neighborhood pub where people can gather for food, and that's what it is. They have great burgers, great drinks, whatever you want to do. Go see them at 106 Southwest 2nd Street in Bentonville, Arkansas, or give them a call at 479-250-9149. So if you're coming up for Razorback games, basketball, baseball, make the trip up to Bentonville. It's not that much farther of a drive, and go see them at the First Seat Pub and Grub. Great place to go get a burger.
Hey, we've got sponsors in Northwest Arkansas now. That's pretty awesome. All right, moving on to our friends at Southern Tees. They're still in Central Arkansas. They're your premier screen printing provider for that area, but they're not only experts in the world of T-shirts. If you need embroidery, promotional products, or team apparel, they've got you covered. If you need to raise money, they also have you covered. Southern Tees offers unique options for online web stores for fundraising, and they've helped their customers raise tens of thousands of dollars for their organizations already. So give them a call at 501-932-0158 or check them out at their website, southerntees.com, southernts.com, Southern Hospitality, Southern Charm, Southern Tees.
And then, as you all know, we are also brought to you by Southern Lawn Service. They serve the greater Central Arkansas area, doing any type of landscape maintenance you could imagine. So go see them. If you want bulk landscape supplies, you can call them as well. They'll give you some mulch, some dirt, some gravel, landscape rock and sod. If you're in the Central Arkansas area and you need anything done to your yard, you call Southern Lawn Service. Don't call anybody else. Southern Lawn Service will do it better than anybody else. So they're at 1 Lee Road in Conway, Arkansas, or you can call them at 501-514-3463. All right. So we already did our post-game recap of the Indiana game, which was on Friday. Arkansas won 5-2. So we won't hit on that game. If you want to know more about that, go listen to that post-game recap. We're going to start with Stanford. So Arkansas versus Stanford, number 6 versus number 2. It was a big game. This was the game that you had marked on your calendar, the game that the nation was talking about, and Arkansas just throws up a dud.
Yeah, too bad this one was behind a paywall, right? You said there was a bunch of hype leading up to it, and the HawgBats they were just cold. 3 hits the entire game, man. That's disappointing for your first big test on the national stage for the Razorbacks. Nothing worked. I mean, Hagen Smith couldn't get out of the third. Dave Van Horn was saying none of his stuff was working. He couldn't command his fastball. Changeup wasn't even really that close to the plate. And then you got some solid relief from Isaac Bracken, Heston Toll, Elijah Trest, and Miller Plyman. They got to throw some more arms today, but that's about the only positive takeaway from the first game against Stanford.
Yeah, you wanted more from Hagen Smith. You were expecting, hey, they're going to throw Hagen Smith against a top 10 team. This is his chance to prove, hey, he's this freshman that everybody's excited to see. And this was him being able to go in and say, hey, I'm this guy. And he wasn't able to do that. You got to think, we talked about this on Saturday when we were at the game, what was supposed to be the game, is this going to affect Hagen Smith tomorrow? Because he was, he had the mindset ready to go. I'm pitching today, and then doesn't pitch, and then goes in Sunday, and you have to readjust the mindset, I guess. I don't know if that affected him. We didn't get him in the post-game press conference. Dave Van Horn didn't say anything about it. It just seemed like it wasn't working for him. I don't know if it's the cold or not, but yeah, he goes 2 1/3, 6 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, gets 3 strikeouts, but it's unfortunate for Hagen Smith. But realistically, he just needed help from the bats, as did all the Arkansas pitchers.
Yeah, I mean, 3 hits is never going to win you a ball game. There's not much more to say about it than that. You had a single in the 9th from Lanzilli, a single in the 5th from Michael Turner, and a single in the 3rd from Zach Gregory. But those are too far. They're spaced too far apart. If you don't string hits together in an inning, you're not going to do anything at the plate. And they didn't. The Razorbacks they loaded the bases twice in that game, and couldn't come away with anything either time, including in the 9th inning against a new pitcher with no outs. That was pretty discouraging. And it really didn't look good into the second game either.
No, that's something I asked Dave Van Horn was, hey, your bats were really cold against Stanford, then you started Louisiana off, and the bats were still cold. And he basically said, look, I don't know what it is, but we're going to have to figure it out because we're not hitting well right now. And so he went with a different lineup against Louisiana, but we'll talk about that later on when we get to that. But Quinn Matthews for Stanford, 6 innings, gives up 2 hits, 4 walks, but 10 strikeouts. This dude, he was crazy. I voted him as MVP of the tournament. I think that a lot of people. Who won? Brett Barrera, right?
Who had 7 hits, 8 RBI. So it was kind of difficult not to give it to him.
But I understand that. And for the people who looked at the stat sheet, which I'm sure they sent the media voting out to a lot of people who probably didn't watch all the games. But if you watch this Arkansas-Stanford game, I don't know how you can't pick Quinn Matthews as MVP of the weekend because he had the best game on the mound against the best team in the tournament. If you're just looking at rankings, Arkansas number 2 in the nation. I know all you Arkansas fans out there are like, well, Arkansas doesn't deserve that ranking. They shouldn't be in the top 25, blah, blah, blah. They were ranked number 2 in the nation for a reason because they're a really good baseball team. And Stanford, they made them look silly, and Quinn Matthews had an insanely good outing. He was dominant, and that's why I picked him as MVP. I'm curious, though, and I asked this last weekend, like how much of last weekend was Illinois State was good and Arkansas just wasn't playing good. And in this one, it's like how good was Quinn Matthews and how bad was Arkansas at the plate?
Yeah, it was Arkansas's first big test, and the Razorbacks failed. It was pretty bad, pretty ugly. Look at innings 1 through 3, the stretch of the lineup between Robert Moore and Brady Slavens. That's 5 straight strikeouts, 3 through 7, first time through the order, and he struck out 5 more in the game. His Matthews first time through the order, he got 6 guys. He sat 6 guys down on strikes, only gave up 1 hit. It was that one to Gregory with 2 outs in the 3rd. Guess what? Lineup flips over. Peyton Stovall comes back to bat. He strikes out again. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 strikeouts through 3 innings. And then he got the remaining 3 innings, and escaped the bases loaded jam too. So just a pretty incredible job by Quinn Matthews for Stanford. That's a name I'm going to be watching for the rest of the season to sort of answer, is that a case of Arkansas just sucking? That's why I want to watch Quinn Matthews, because I don't know. But it was pretty pitiful for the Razorbacks today.
That's one thing, because coming into the game, Matthews didn't do very good last week against Cal State Fullerton. I think they won their Sunday game that he started, but he didn't do very well. I don't think he got out of the 4th. I think he only went 3 innings.
I think he started Saturday, and yes, he did not go very long. We talked about this on our preview episode. I think he only got through 3 innings.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was a Saturday guy because they were supposed to play on Saturday. Okay, I was confused for a second. So yeah, I mean, if you just look at it, Peyton Stovall, 3 strikeouts and 4 at bats. Didn't even play against Louisiana. Brady Slavens, 4 strikeouts and 4 at bats. The Golden Sombrero, he didn't play against Louisiana. Battles 2. So I mean, you're talking between Battles, Stovall, and Slavens. That is 9 strikeouts right there. That's just you cannot win a ball game.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, the whole team struck out 15 times throughout the game, and everybody in the lineup, including the hot hitting Caden Wallace, even he struck out. I mean, it was bad. And credit to Stanford, their relief pitchers showed up too. They had 5 more strikeouts in 3 innings of relief, and they only gave up 1 hit. There were 2 walks there when the right fielder came into pitch in the 9th, but it was just a disaster.
So let's talk about the Arkansas pitching a little bit more. We mentioned Hagen Smith, but Arkansas got some guys in the game some guys that we haven't seen this year, some guys that we have. But the first one out of the mound was Isaac Bracken. You mentioned him. He goes 1 2/3, gets a walk and a strikeout. Doesn't give up any hits or anything, but he just wasn't feeling it. Dave Van Horn kind of compared his outing to Nick Griffin's outing against Louisiana. It was like their first inning, great. They were looking awesome. And then they came out after that, and it just wasn't going well for them. So then they bring in Heston Toll. He goes 3 innings, gives up 5 hits, 1 run, but it was unearned. So Heston Toll is going to be one of your best guys out of the pen. He might start a couple midweeks, but he seems to be a guy that you can rely on.
Yeah, he does. And if you can get 3 innings on any given weekend game from Heston Toll, you got to feel pretty good about that, because you're going to have the games, particularly from freshman Hagen Smith, where maybe he doesn't have all of his stuff working and he has to come out early. That 3 innings from Heston Toll is really big. Like you said, 5 hits, but only 1 run, and it wasn't earned. I think Caden Wallace, that was a game he had 2 errors. Yeah, tough game in the field for Wallace there, but Toll worked very effectively. And honestly, you mentioned that Bracken didn't do too well after his first inning of work. He did hit his first batter in his second inning, but then he got a double play and a fly ball, so he was quickly out of it. It was when he came out for the 3rd inning that he walked the leadoff guy, and then they decided they were gonna move it on to Toll. But yeah, like I said, that was the one positive takeaway from the Stanford game, is that you got a lot of arms that you wouldn't normally see in Bracken, Trest, and Plyman, who combined gave up just 1 earned run in, 3.2 innings. So pretty solid.
Yeah, and then you finish it off with Elijah Trest and Miller Plyman. You haven't seen either of those guys this year. Trest goes 1 1/3, gives up a hit, and then a run and an earned run, walk, had a strikeout. He didn't have the velocity that we've seen from him in the past. And then Miller Plyman comes in, goes 2/3 of an inning, gives up a hit, gets a strikeout. He didn't impress me, but he seems to be a more off-speed type guy. I haven't ever seen him pitch before, but both those guys, they come in and I guess they get the job done. It's just, what are you going to do when the bats weren't going? And then you look at it, Arkansas had a chance. They had a tiny little run going there in the bottom of the 9th, but of course it was too little, too late.
Yeah, it was. It was impressive that after they had played so poorly all day that they could bring the tying run as close as the on-deck circle. But I believe Stanford had a mound visit after they loaded the bases with nobody out, and that proved to be the difference, because Braden Webb bounced it right back up the middle. That's right. There was a 1-2 fielder's choice, and then Brady Slavens struck out for the 4th time, and Jalen Battles hit one hard, but it was right at the center fielder, and the rest is history. Tough first game for the Razorbacks, and it's good that they got that big hit late in game 2, because it looked like the rest of the day was headed down that path too.
Yeah, that's a game that, man, you wish you would have won that game against Stanford, a top 10 team. But the good thing for Arkansas is you don't have to worry about strength of schedule, because you play in the SEC, specifically the SEC West. So they're going to get to play plenty of top 10 teams throughout the rest of this season. The issue for them after the Stanford game, and I mean really right now as we sit here and talk, and this is after the Louisiana game too, they got to figure out how to hit the ball, because They have the talent. They have the power. I mean, Dave Van Horn said it himself, and you trust that guy to tell you the truth about his team. And he also told us the truth after, and he said, I don't know what it is. He said, I'm going to keep tinkering with the lineup, and we're going to figure it out. He did tinker with the lineup in Game 2 against Louisiana, but before we get to that, we're going to do another quick ad read. Let's make this one short and sweet, Robert, because I need to go to bed. So, First Heat Pub and Grill in Bentonville, Arkansas, new sponsor alert. Thank you to them. We're so excited to have them along with us. So, they're at 106 Southwest 2nd Street in Bentonville, Arkansas. Go check out their website also. It's thefirstseatpub.com. That tells you everything you need to know about them. They have events. They have their menu there. You can order online. And it also tells you about their place, and you can contact them. But, I mean, if you want a great burger, you want a great beer, you just want good food and good atmosphere when you're coming up to Northwest Arkansas, you need to go to the First Seat Pub and Grill. You have all those places in Fayetteville, but they're always going to be busy when there's a game. If you can go a little bit extra out of your way to Bentonville, then go see them. Like I said, they're at 106 Southwest 2nd Street in Bentonville, or call them 479-250-9149. All right, Robert, really quick. Don't read it all.
And don't forget about our friends at Southern Tees. They've got you covered if you're in Central Arkansas or the surrounding area. T-shirts, embroidery, promotional products, team apparel, fundraising, they do it all. Give them a call at 501-932-0158 or check them out online at southerntees.com. Southern hospitality, Southern charm, Southern Tees.
All right, I know everybody out there is cheering Robert along for that short ad read. We're all proud of you, buddy. Southern Lawn Service as well in Central Arkansas. Go see them for all of your landscaping needs. Like I've said before, they do it better than anybody. They provide the best products of anybody. They've got mulch, they've got rock, they've got sod, they've got dirt. Anything you need, go see them or call them 501-514-3463 or go see them at 1 Lee Road in Conway, Arkansas. All right. Game number 2 versus Louisiana. Are they okay? How do they get to be Louisiana? But they were Louisiana-Lafayette, and apparently they were Southwestern Louisiana at some point.
Beats me. I don't know.
Okay, well, Arkansas gets the win over them 6-4, and as we mentioned previously, I mean the bats started cold against Louisiana too. The way this game started, I mean. Go through the first inning because I can't remember it exactly. Actually, no. Before we do that, I want to talk about the lineup change. Do you have it right there?
Yeah.
Okay, read the lineup for us.
All right, so typically for the first 5 games, you had Stovall leading off. They moved Stovall out of the lineup because he went 1 for 9 in the first 2 games combined. So they moved Zach Gregory up to the top spot. Wallace Moore, that was consistent 2-3, and then Michael Turner stayed in the lineup after catching the first game. They moved him to first base. He had cleanup, put Chris Lanzilli in right field. He had normally been playing left or been the designated hitter. Jace Borfin makes his way back into the lineup after going 0 for 12. His first several games as a Razorback. Battles in the 7-hole. Freshman Kendall Diggs makes his debut, hitting 8th as a DH, and then Dylan Leach catches. That's to be expected after Turner catches the first half of a doubleheader.
Okay, so now take us through the first inning, Robert, because the way the game started, it just did not feel right. So Arkansas was the away team, so they were hitting first in the top of the first. And it's like after the Stanford game, you had to come out and make a statement, show, hey, we can hit the ball. And they did not do that. And they didn't do that for a while. Like, it looked the exact same as it did against Stanford, except for, I mean, Wiggins went a little bit longer, but he still gave up the 3 runs. So, but before we get to that, tell us what happened in the top of the first.
Yeah, right. So, like you said, they really needed to make a statement, and they didn't do it. I think I tweeted when I tweeted the picture of the second game that they went down in order for the 6th time in 10 innings on the day. So, a pretty ugly start, even with the new leadoff hitter. And then it just got worse in the bottom of the first. There was a walk, a fielder's choice, a hit, or an RBI groundout. So it wasn't necessarily that, the Ragin' Cajuns were hitting Jackson Wiggins around, because they weren't. They were just finding ways to get guys on base, which we talk about all the time on this show. And, they struck first because they did that, and Arkansas was struggling mightily. I mean, they had an infield hit from Michael Turner to bust up the no-hitter in the second, but that's a ball that if the first baseman and the pitcher are on the same page, that maybe doesn't go down as a hit. And then they did score to tie the game in the top of the third, but they didn't get a hit on that in that inning either. There was a walk and 2 errors that led them to score. So it was a pretty ugly set of early innings again for the Razorbacks.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's ugly baseball. When you're scoring a run, but it's like, how the heck did we score that run? We didn't deserve it. So, not we, Arkansas. We're not Arkansas. Hypothetically speaking. But you did get a quality start from Wiggins. He went the longest he's ever gone in his career. 6 innings, gives up 3 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned runs, walks 2, strikes out 4. He said that he was very confident in his fastball. As Jackson Wiggins is. And then he just felt good. He felt confident. And I asked him if he's trusting his defense more, because it feels like he got hit a lot. There was a lot of contact made, and he was trusting his defense. And he said, yeah, that's something that I've had to do. I learned that from last year. But Jackson Wiggins is a man of few words, so I'm not going to go into detail because there is no detail.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed that he was one of the folks in the post-game media availability, because he doesn't give you very insightful answers. But anyway, that's okay, because he pitched very well tonight. We talked the whole game about how miserable the offense looks, right? But after the third inning, Louisiana did not get a hit. Like, Arkansas pitchers did a really, really quietly, but they did a really good job of taking care of business. Like you said, quality start for Jackson Wiggins. That's the first of his career. He met the qualifications exactly, 6 innings, 3 earned runs, and that's a career-long outing for him too, right? 6 innings. Hats off to the sophomore. 91 pitches. He worked very effectively. Like you said, he pitched to contact, but he trusted his defense, and eventually the bats woke up.
They did. So tell us about tell us about when the bats woke up. I can't have the live stats pulled up or the box score pulled up because they don't have it ready yet. But you've got your scorebook sitting in front of you.
The rally, you said?
The rally. Just do a scoring recap.
Okay. So like I said, Arkansas ties in the third. Louisiana comes back and gets a pair of hits. One of them's a double into the right field corner. That's a 2-run double, so now it's 3-1 Louisiana. And then the Cajuns don't get any more hits after that. So the 5th inning, Arkansas gets the first earned run of the day. Wow, that's big news after 14 innings of baseball. Guess who leads off with a double? It's Zach Gregory. And, by the way, he would score again in the 9th, so he, as my prediction stated earlier in the year, leads the team in runs. Not very many, 5, we discussed this, but nonetheless, he leads the team. He doubled, and then, let's see, there were 2 pitching changes in that inning. The starter, Jeff Wilson, walked Caden Wallace. He got the hook. They brought a guy by the name of Chipper Menard into the game. He issued 2 walks, one of which was to Michael Turner, and brought Gregory home. So Gregory scores the first of 2 runs, and that gets the Hogs within 1 run there in the 5th. Jackson Wiggins finishes his outing. Good job by him. Friend of the Diamond Hogs podcast, Zebulon Vermillion, works a scoreless 7th. He's going to end up getting the win because in the 8th, top of the 8th, Jalen Battles goes yard, the first home run for Arkansas of the weekend. It's a 3-run shot. He said he was hunting fastball, got a fastball, took him into the left field grass. Let's see who scored on that one. Lanzillian Borfin walked again by 2 different pitchers. Walks really killed the Raging Cajun pitchers. So of the 7 guys that threw for Louisiana, 6 of them walked a batter for 8 total walks. It was pretty ugly there toward the end of the game. You had 2 walks in each of the 8th and 9th innings. Zach Gregory drew 1 in the 9th to lead off. He scored again, pad the lead to 6-3 at that point, and then Nick Griffin struggled a bit in the 9th, gave up 1 earned run, but Cole Ramage came in, shut the door, and got the win for Arkansas.
Okay, so where should we start from all of that? I guess we can start at the Battles home run. I mean, how big of a play is that from Battles? I mean, big play Battles. That's what you got to start calling him, because he's got the clutch gene, I think. But it also feels like at times he doesn't. I don't know. I think with Battles, he really understands situational baseball. And in that specific situation, you're in the 8th inning. Arkansas is down 3-2. You can no longer just sit and watch pitches go by. All night long, they were so picky at the plate. And there were so many times that they would just watch. They would be up 3-1, and they would watch strikes 2 and 3 go by. And what Jalen Battles did, you mentioned it, he said he was hunting fastball. He knew what he was looking for, and he knew he was going to get it. And sure enough, he did, and he crushed it. And that's what you need from a guy who's a veteran like Jalen Battles, but you need to start seeing that from everybody else, because these other guys are capable of that. Jalen Battles he's not the most talented batter on the team, and he's not the most powerful batter on the team. But he came up with the biggest hit. I mean, I'm looking at the stats. That was his only hit on the weekend.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Is like you mentioned his situational awareness. You're down 1. You need a big hit to get the boys either tied or on top, and he's sitting there 0 for 9. I mean, he had a tough weekend, and he didn't play outstandingly in the field either. There were some tough balls. He said the field was playing pretty fast. He had a couple bobbles, a couple missed double plays. Now the Razorbacks turned a handful of double plays, but it seems like there could have been probably 2 or 3 more if Battles had fielded them cleanly. So he was having a tough series. He comes up, he knows what he's looking for, he gets what he's looking for, and like you said, that big hit finally comes through. So maybe that's a confidence boost for him going forward. I know he had a really good weekend. I think he had 4 hits against Illinois State. But a tough 1 for 10 in Round Rock. But the one was important.
And who other than Jalen Battles to make the final out? Jumps up, line drive to short. He has to jump up and catch it, but he catches it and then tosses it over to second for the final out on a double play there at the end of the game. But I don't know. It was a tough weekend of baseball. It was a tough weekend just overall of things going on. It seems like everything that could have gone wrong, not just for us, but Arkansas, at least against Stanford. Of course, they beat Louisiana, but it wasn't pretty. Just feels like everything that could have gone wrong went wrong this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, we were here for a long time before we got to see any Razorback baseball like we talked about earlier. But you know what? The big takeaway for me is that you didn't play your best ball this weekend, and you still came away with 2 wins. I mean, we talk about it all the time. You got to win series to be successful in this game, and it wasn't really a series because you didn't play the same team 3 times. But if you go 2-1 any given weekend, that's a recipe for success. And if you can pick up those 2 wins while you're not swinging the bats at their full potential, you got to take some pride in that. I mean, it looks ugly, sure, but a win's a win, and there's no 2 ways about it.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that the bats aren't pretty, but what is pretty is the pitching. The pitching has been what's winning Arkansas games, and you wouldn't have thought that coming into the season, but you're sitting here 5-2, and I think you could make an argument. Yeah, you could. That every game you've won has been from pitching. Because there's some baseball games where you just win it at the plate. You know that your team is just so hot at the plate that that's where you want it. You could give up 9 runs and you're still going to win 15-9. But right now, Arkansas is in a spot where they are relying heavily on their pitchers to come out and give them quality starts. And that's what you got from Connor Nolan against Indiana. I mean, 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, 1 earned run, struck out 10. You didn't get it from Hagen Smith against Stanford, but you lost that game, and that's probably why. That and the fact that you couldn't hit the ball. 3 hits. And then you look on Sunday night, Jackson Wiggins, quality start, 6 innings. I mean, Wiggins going 6 innings, that's exactly what you need on Sunday. I mean, you think about a Sunday guy, if you can get 6 innings and only 3 earned runs for a Sunday guy, that's really good.
Right, and you said that pitching has been the key. If you look at it in Arkansas's 4 wins, you talked about Wiggins today, you talked about Noland Friday, and then the 2 wins against Illinois State. Hagen Smith had a quality start. I think that was 6 shutout innings. And then Wiggins, who at the time we weren't sure if he could get through the 4th inning, he got through 5. And how many runs did he give up? 1 or 2? Not too many. Only 1, yeah. So, yes, starting pitching has been very, very good for this Arkansas team. And, hopefully at some point for them, it will turn into offensive momentum.
Yeah, we were sitting there, Louisiana game, Arkansas's down 3-2 in the 8th. And I look over to you and I'm like, this team might start 4-3. They might start 4-3, and it's
3-3.
How many
Only
games?
played 6
Oh, they've
games.
played 6 games. Dang it. Yeah, 3-3. Yeah, they might start 3-3, and here you are. You're 4-2, which is a lot more pretty than 3-3, and you got confidence moving forward. You got Omaha coming to town on Wednesday, and before we get to that, I do want to remind you about our friends at Southern Lawn Service. Go see them for all of your commercial, residential, apartment, or anything to do with landscaping needs. Call them at 501-514-3463 or go see them at 1 Lee Road in Conway, Arkansas, where they can also hook you up with any bulk landscape supplies you need.
All right, and don't forget about our friends at Southern Tees, your premier screen printing provider for Central Arkansas and the surrounding area. They've got you covered for T-shirts. They've got you covered for embroidery, promotional products, apparel, fundraising. They've helped their customers raise tens of thousands of dollars already. So give them a call. You could be next, 501-932-0158, or check them out online at their website at southerntees.com. Southern hospitality, Southern charm, Southern Tees.
And as we've mentioned, new sponsor alert, the First Seat Pub and Grill in Bentonville, Arkansas. Really, if you just want a great atmosphere, you want great food, and you want great drinks, go see them. First Seat Pub and Grub in Bentonville. Make the drive up. If you're going to Fayetteville and the game's over and you're just chilling in your hotel room and you don't know where to go and you're like, I don't know if I want to go to Dixon. All those bars are going to be crazy. Go to the First Seat Pub and Grub in Bentonville. It'll be worth your drive. It'll be worth your time, and it'll be worth your money at 106 Southwest 2nd Street in Bentonville, Arkansas, or call them 479-250-9149. All right, so we got to talk about moving forward from this Round Rock Classic because there's some takeaways that we have. Of course, the biggest are going to be you're confident in your pitching, you're not confident in your lineup. But I think we can confidently say, and we'll just start here. We can confidently say Michael Turner is your starting catcher.
Absolutely. He really impressed this weekend. Let's see. That was another highlight. I said there was only one positive takeaway from the Stanford game. That's not true because Michael Turner threw 2 runners out. So defensively, he's a rock back there. And then he was one of only 3 guys in the order to pick up 3 hits this weekend. Like I said, one of them in the Louisiana game was a little dribbler, but a hit's a hit. It counts toward the batting average. He was only one of 2 guys on the weekend to hit 300 or better. So, and Dylan Leach in his game went 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout. So, yes, Michael Turner is your starting catcher. That's pretty set in stone, I think, at this point.
You can also trust him at first base too. He played first base against Louisiana, had a nice pick. So we knew when we talked to him, we knew coming into the season that he's a versatile guy, and so we've seen that early already. Let's go down the line. So Stovall goes 1 for 9, 3 strikeouts. I mean, he's a freshman. He is a freshman, but he was taken out of the lineup against Louisiana, so you know that Dave Van Horn's frustrated with him. I'm sure Peyton Stovall's frustrated with himself, but this is a guy that was going to be a first-round draft pick in last year's draft, so he's going to figure it out.
Yeah, you have to think he will, and this benching in this last game, it reminds me a little bit of the, I think it was the Shriners Classic or whatever that tournament in Houston was a couple years ago, right before COVID hit and shut everything down. Casey Martin sat for Game 3, I believe, and then they came back to Fayetteville, and he started tearing it up. So we'll see what the next couple of weeks have in store for Peyton Stovall, but maybe this one game off is going to be a good thing for him.
So we don't really need to talk about Caden Wallace. He went 5 for 12. Robert Moore 3 for 12. I mean, those guys are set in stone. Nobody's going to play for them.
All-tournament team.
All-tournament team for Caden Wallace. That is true. Cole Ramage also all-tournament team as the relief pitcher, number one relief pitcher.
Nolan had a pretty strong bid, but Quinn Matthews took the cake with his outing today. Only one starting pitcher got that nod. So.
Yeah, so Ramage got it for his 4 innings, gave up 1 hit, 1 run. It was unearned, struck out 6, walked 1 on the weekend, 2 appearances. Who else? Let's see. Okay, so Battles, you don't have to worry about him. He's going to be in the lineup. I feel like Gregory has solidified his spot in the outfield. I'm assuming center's probably going to be where he plays most of the time.
As long as Braden Webb's not in the lineup. I mean, like I said, team leader in runs. He gets on base. Keep putting him in the lineup. He'll keep doing good things for you.
So, yeah, that's the thing about Braden Webb. You got to see what you're going to do with him, but, I mean, he might be playing more often if you get outings from Jace Borfin. I mean, 0 for 9, 4 strikeouts, still yet to have a hit as a Razorback.
Yeah, he's 0 for 16 in his Arkansas career so far, so you have to wonder how long the leash is with Jace Borfin, because we've heard all these great things from Dave Van Horn, from scouts. It's sort of a mystery why he's in this slump, but who knows how long or how many more chances he'll get out of it.
Brady Slavens held out of Sunday night's game against Louisiana, so you know that Van Horn will sit him, but he's one of the most talented hitters on the team. So, he's going to play ball. It's just where. I don't know if right field is where he's going to be, especially if Stovall is going to be moved around. You don't know what's going to happen with him. We know that Slavens played first base last year. I don't know. That's an interesting thing to think about. What's going to happen with that? I mean, do you think that – because you can't really move Stovall. Where could you move Stovall? I mean, you'd have to have more Battles out. Or
you move Stovall to third for some reason and put Wallace back in the outfield where he was last year. Stovall's an infielder, so I assume that he could play all 4 positions. But right now there's just no viable replacement. I mean, the 10 guys that you see on a regular basis, the 4 infielders, Michael Turner, Lanzilli, Borf, and Gregory Webb. I don't know. We haven't seen a better option presented yet. So until then, I think you gotta keep riding with the potential.
The only option that we've seen presented is Kendall Diggs, and he played Sunday night against Louisiana. Went 1 for 4, had 2 strikeouts. I guess that means that behind Webb, he's the first guy off the bench. Because, Leach at catcher, that makes sense. And then, we know Varnado will come in and pinch run. People are talking about Solis. But, I don't know. What do you think of Diggs?
He's got more hits in one game than Braden Webb and Jace Borfin have in 2 weeks combined. So, I guess that's good for him. I know that Kendall Diggs can play all over the place from having watched him in the fall. He was the DH tonight, so that didn't tell us too much about how he plays in the field. But I think he struck out on 3 pitches one time, watched strike 3 another time. He did poke a single into left field with 2 outs, so gotta respect the hit, especially with the circumstance. 2 outs, that's always a major plus, but. I don't know. Maybe he's one guy who continues to get at-bats in some of these, I'm not going to say meaningless games, but games that don't count toward your conference record.
Yeah. So we'll just go ahead and move on to pitchers because we need to wrap this up. So Mark Adamiak is projected to start per Dave Van Horn for Wednesday's game against Omaha. So that'll be interesting to see. That's a guy that we thought we might see this weekend. And then they'll probably work some more guys in there, probably Nick Moten. We haven't seen him yet. We need to see him. Maybe some more Nick Griffin, we'll see. But you're confident in Nolan. You got to think Hagen Smith's going to bounce back, and then Wiggins is your weekend starter still. Ramage has proven to be the number one guy out of the pen. I mean, got you out of the hole against Louisiana in the ninth. I mean, there's bases loaded in the ninth, and Ramage got you out of it. He's your go-to guy out of the pen.
Yeah, I mean, the go-ahead, the winning run was in the batter's box for the Ragin' Cajuns. So, yes, Ramage is your go-to guy out of the pen. You know, we heard from Van Horn say that we're probably not going to use him again this weekend, but they did, and they talked to him. It sort of reminded me a little bit of the Kevin Kopps answer from Game 3 of the Super, right? Like, he wanted the ball, so they gave him the ball.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Van Horn said that Ramage went up to them and said, on a scale of 1 to 10, I feel like a 9 right now. And they were like, all right, go get ready. And he went in.
And he said, in hindsight, I probably should have put him in to start the ninth inning.
Yeah, I think a lot of people had that same mindset. But hindsight is 20/20. Arkansas still won. That's what matters. And let's see. So Bracken, you got to see Bracken. Toll, we're confident in Toll out of the bullpen. Tress, don't really know yet. Plyman, still don't know. Vermillion, you know what you're going to get with Vermillion. You're probably going to get 1 or 2 innings with Vermillion. And then Griffin looked good, really good for an inning. And then after that, it fell downhill real quick. But that's the thing. If you can get some of these guys just come in for an inning, give you 3 outs, that's really good because, they're deep at pitcher.
Right. This first month of the season is all about testing limits. I think it's okay that some guys are, going beyond, so to speak. They're struggling in their second inning or third inning of work or whatever. But that's okay. That's natural. They got to figure out how they operate against live hitting, and they're doing that. And, hopefully they lock it down by the time Kentucky comes to town on March the 18th.
I think that's right. Okay. Well, we're going to wrap this episode up. So you get Omaha on Wednesday in Fayetteville, 3 p.m. It'll be on SEC Network Plus. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday series against Southeastern in Fayetteville. Friday 3, Saturday 2, Sunday 1, all on SEC Network Plus. So we'll have that episode previewing that on Friday. Guest to be determined. And, it is 1 in the morning. We're exhausted. We got to get up in a couple hours and drive back. So I apologize if this episode sucked. I don't think it did. We did what we needed to do.
Don't sugarcoat it like that. Jeez.
Anyways, real quick before we go, we got to tell you some more about our sponsors. New sponsor, First Seat Pub and Grill. I mean it when I say just go to them because it's going to be a great atmosphere. It's going to be better food than you're probably going to get at the other places you want to go to, and better drinks as well. And they're just great people, nice people, and their hours are great as well. If you want to see their hours, you can go to their website. It's thefirstseatpub.com. They also have Saturday breakfast and Sunday brunch, so those are great ideas to go check out. If you're going to come up for the Southeastern Series, go up there, get some brunch before the game, then go to Baum, and you're set. So 106 Southwest 2nd Street in Bentonville, Arkansas, 479-250-9149.
And don't forget the good folks at Southern Tees, your premier screen printing provider for Central Arkansas and the surrounding area. T-shirts, embroidery, promotional products, team apparel, fundraising, they've got it all. Give them a call, 501-932-0158, or check them out online at southerntees.com. That's Southern Hospitality, Southern Charm, Southern Tees.
Last but not least, Southern Lawn Service. You know it. You've heard it. If you're in the Central Arkansas area, you need anything landscaping done to your yard, you call Southern Lawn Service. I'm talking paver patios, landscape remodels, retaining walls, drainage solutions, anything you need, call them 501-514-3463 or go see them at 1 Lee Road in Conway, Arkansas for any bulk supplies you need. All right, we will talk to you guys on Friday. Robert, you have something?
Yes, we received a couple of things on Twitter today to check out more extensively. Like Mason said, we are exhausted. It is very late. We will get to that in the next episode because I do want to circle back to it and see what was going on there. But thank you for listening once again. It's been a pleasure to be here in Round Rock, Texas. covering the Round Rock Classic, and can't wait for another series of bowling this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for you listeners out there, all of you loyal listeners, like, it's so crazy to think that we have loyal listeners, like people that actually listen every episode. We are so thankful for you, and because of you, we're able to be here right now and afford something like this. So it's not like we're just here as fans. We made the trip. Like, this is our job. We're getting to do this because of you, and we love it so much. So thank you, everybody, and thank you for listening. We'll talk to you on Friday.